Hi guys, welcome back. So as we get to the end of the year, as an England fan, I want to look at some of the young players we might see either breaking through into the England team or guys we've seen a little bit of really coming through and making a push for a World Cup place in 2023. So I'm going to talk about these players, give you their age, but also give them a rating. 1 as an outside bet, 2 as a possible, and 3 as a probable. And I'd love to know which players you think I've missed out and if you'd change those ratings. So let's get straight in there at loose head. We've seen Bevan Rodd already a couple of times, 21 years old, a scrum specialist, and if given the time, maybe he'll get there for 2023, but at 21, that's still incredibly young for a prop, but from what we've seen so far, I'll put him as a possible, a 2 there. Let me know if you agree. In at hook, I've got Jamie Blamire. We've seen him a bit, 23, so he's a good age. He's got that X factor athletically. If he keeps gaining experience, I think he is a 3, a probable for the World Cup. I have been incredibly impressed with him. Tight heads, we need more tight heads, so I think we should give Joe Hayes a look. 22, so he is still young, but he's been around a little bit. I think he needs to get some time because we haven't seen him so much. I'd put him as an outside bet, but we've got to get these tight heads coming through. Okay, into the second rows. We saw this guy briefly appear in an England training squad, then he got injured. But Chanya Munga is 21 years old. He's got all the athletic ability, but he hasn't broken through yet, club-wise or for England. But he does have the ability. Could he be a bolter? Now, a guy I think's a little bit more likely to appear is Ted Hill. I put him in at second row. I do think this is a position that he could be very useful to England in. Only 22, although we've seen him around for a bit, got a couple of caps. Probably was going to get a game, but then got injured in an England training squad. I'll put him down as a 2, as a possible. Really would like to see him given a run because I think he's got absolutely everything in his game. Into the much competitive back row. At number 6 at the blind side, I really want to see George Martin play for England. I'm putting him there as a 3. I think he's a probable. He's that good, but we just need to see him on the pitch. I definitely see him as a like for Courtney Lawes. Huge carrier and just loves the fight and the graft, which I think you just can't teach. So I'd have him there as a probable. Another guy who is a possible is Jack Willis. We may well see him early-ish next year, coming back from his horrible second knee injury. But before he had that second injury, he was looking like an England starter through and through. If he can get back fully fit, he should be in and around, but obviously coming back from a big injury is a bit of a maybe, so he's only a possible. 24, so not the youngest in the squad, but obviously he's been a bit injured for a couple of years, so it's going to be a problem. Right, the guy next on the list, I was going to talk about anyway, and kind of guessed that maybe we're going to see him in the back row instead of the front row. Honestly, I was going to say that. And then we got the news that Alfie Barbary had indeed had the conversation with club and country that really back row's where he wants to go. That's what I was feeling he was pushing towards as a big number 8. Obviously, Eddie likes a big number 8. He's looking for that replacement for Billy Vunipola, and Alfie Barbary kind of ticks those sorts of boxes. Incredibly powerful, not the tallest, but definitely big enough, and an absolute beast in the carry. So I think he needs to come in sooner rather than later, and I think he's got so much talent. If he keeps his feet on the ground, he is a 3, a probable. Okay, into the backs. Let's have a look at Jack Van Port Velit. Only 20 years old, but he's got the full package, the leadership, every part of his game looks good to me. So I have him as a possible just because we haven't seen him yet. And also there's lots of other good scrum halves around. Now the number 10 spot is pretty much sewn up at the moment with Farrell and Smith and maybe Ford to come back. But as a bolter, Orlando Bailey could be the man. Only 20 years old, was seriously impressive in the under-20s when I did videos on that. And I know Bath cannot buy a win for love nor money at the moment, but he's starting for them over Danny Cipriani and probably learning an awful lot in the process. So a little bit on the rails there. We haven't seen him yet, an outside bet, but he's got the full package, he's got the skills, and I think he's the most athletic of the young fly halves that are out there. So maybe he's worth a punt. Into the outside back, starting with one of the wingers, Adam Radwan, 23. We've seen him a couple of times now. We know he's absolute box office, but will need to improve his all-round game. but he's got the speed, and because he's so dangerous, and he's probably the quickest guy in England, a lot quicker than Johnny May now, I think. I put him down as a 3 as a probable. At 12, we need 12s, and I think we need Dan Kelly. Only 20 years old, so it would be a bit of a push to get him into that England team for the World Cup, but I think he's good enough. So I've got him as a possible because we need 12s, but he's got a proper game. He can hit the ball up, and he's got a great passing game. Strong, quick, like him a lot. At 13, a guy we have seen a bit, Ollie Lawrence, but he may make a comeback. He's got to play for England a couple of times and it hasn't quite gone his way. I think he's got more to show. And if you want a power 13, like a Tuolangi, he's probably your closest to it. Only 22, I'll put him there as a possible because Eddie has picked him before. Talking of power, we've got Joe Thorkanasiga. He's still around. He's only 24 and injury has just kept him out of the team since he looked so good in the World Cup. Came back in the summer, caused some havoc, had a bit of a problem with his same knee, but apparently it's not too bad, doesn't need surgery. So if he can get himself fit for a period of time, I think, he's an absolute possible for England, but I'm only putting him as a possible, not probable, because of that injury status. And at 15, a guy who I think has all the skills, all the physical ability to get into this England squad is Tommy Freeman. He's starting to really light it up for Northampton, only 20 years old, but he's got size, he's got pace, he's got power, he's got those fullback skills. He could be a big winger if you wanted. He's 6'2", over 100 kilos already at 20. I think he's the real deal. I think we'll see him in the England squad probably next year. So he's in as a 3, a probable. So guys, let me know anyone else who should be on this list and if you would change my ratings in any way, and I will catch you next time.